Yes, hello, I'm back. I'm just as surprised as you that I'm back on Autotrader's YouTube channel making videos by myself. Usually you find me on my own channel, Hoovie's Garage, but Autotrader has given me the keys to their channel to make content of my own. And I'm back again to talk about a subject that's near and dear to my heart. There is one trend that really set cars apart back in the day, and that's wood paneling. I really think wood paneling could make a comeback in a big way, even with modern cars, even though it is a dinosaur extinct trend. And before we get into this, I will freely admit that retro styling is a very dangerous territory for automakers. There have been a lot more misses than hits when it comes to that in recent decades, but I really think the nostalgia of wood paneling and the fact that you don't have to do very much to change a car to make it wood paneled would be a really easy thing to do, bring back a lot of nostalgia, and make a car that's otherwise kind of bland seem special. And just to show how a little wood paneling can spice things up, I've compiled a list of cars on Autotrader that I've found that were the last to still have wood paneling. And I'm also going to discuss their modern counterparts that could also benefit from wood paneling. So let's dive in. Now, to give a little historical context here, wood was used in the construction of cars from the very beginning. It actually made up the entire body of cars in most cases, and it was widely used as the body of the cars, the roof, the doors, and all that jazz from the beginning of cars over 100 years ago until about right before World War II. Now, there's still a few cars that went all the way into the 1970s, some cheaply built ones that still used wood in part of their structure, but mostly it became a decorative item after the Second World War, and then wood was completely phased out altogether. That is real wood and replaced with fake vinyl wood, basically stickers. And that trend continued well into the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then was slowly phased out. There's a very few cars left in the 90s before it was completely gone altogether. Now, most of the cars on my list that I found on Autotrader are some of the last in existence, starting with this 1983 Chrysler LeBaron Mark Cross Town & Country, which I know very well because I once owned one of these. They are very interesting looking with wood. That Chrysler LeBaron was one that I got the most attention in driving around. People love to see it because it looks so different than anything else. Mostly people were pointing and laughing at me, and I actually ended up burying that car alive because it was so badly rusted and so many things were broken. But anyway, I think the Chrysler LeBaron Town & Country would apply really well to the current Chrysler 300 because it kind of has a square, blocky styling with the right kind of shape. And if you did something tasteful with the wood to give it a little more flair, I think it would look pretty sharp with the Chrysler 300. And really, Chrysler doesn't have much to lose with this because this is the last sedan that Chrysler sells. So they might as well try something. It's just stickers. You could call it a town & country and throw it back to the 1940s town & countries back in the day. Now, I know you're probably not thinking that's the strongest start, and you're right, but it does get better from here. The next car on my list is a Ford Crown Victoria Country Squire Wagon. Another mouthful of a name. I don't know why wood panel cars have to have such long names, but this massive wagon, in my opinion, looks way more regal, covering all that square footage with some wood grain. And while they don't make a big station wagon anymore, I think the wood paneling treatment would look great on the current Ford Expedition. You could make a Ford Expedition Country Squire, put some wood paneling down the side. Once again, it's another square, blocky shape, and so much metal on this thing that a wood panel strip and some Country Squire dress-up badging, maybe dress up the interior a little bit, it would look great. Now, Lincoln has done this kind of once with their Lincoln Blackwood pickup truck. The rear bed had a wrap on it that was kind of a dark black, really subtle wood grain, and I think it looked really sharp. Imagine that on the Ford Expedition in a Country Squire treatment that's a little more modernized. It would look super sharp. But the Ford Expedition is already selling really well, so let's go back to a company that needs help with sales, and that is Chrysler again. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a wood-paneled Dodge Caravan or Plymouth Grand Voyager or Chrysler Town & Country for sale on Autotrader currently, but I did find another K car, a Chrysler LeBaron Town & Country Wagon. It just looks bonkers with wood paneling, and the few times that I've seen one in the flesh, I just can't stop looking at it because it's so incredible. But going back to the minivans, they look great because they had all that surface area for a wood paneling strip, and I think the Chrysler Pacifica has the perfect size and shape to bring back wood paneling. And you could make it a Town & Country edition. A lot of people miss the old Chrysler Town & Country van, so bringing it back with wood paneling and a spruced up interior, a little retro treatment, I think would sell very well. So many kids my age and older grew up in those minivans and station wagons with wood paneling, and there's not anything available to them to buy to relive that nostalgia when they have kids of their own. So if Chrysler made this with the Pacifica, which is already a great platform for a minivan, but it's hard to compete with the Japanese vans, I think it would sell really well. Moving on to another wood-paneled vehicle that I've owned in the past that is near and dear to my heart. Another mouthful, 1996 Buick Roadmaster Estate Collector's Edition. This beautiful example is for sale right now on Autotrader, and I really want to buy it, but that's not what I'm doing here. I'm talking about the coolness of wood paneling. And the one thing that sets apart this last generation of Roadmaster from the rest of the cars on this list is the shape of it. It has a very aerodynamic, swoopy, modern shape that you see on most modern cars, but as you can see, it lends itself very well to wood paneling. Buick has been trying to get away from its old man image as much as possible, but if they brought back the Roadmaster edition with their Buick Enclave instead of an Avenir, make it a Roadmaster and make wood paneling optional, I think they would see a lot more people in the showrooms and they would get a huge buzz on social media and throughout the press. A Buick Enclave Roadmaster. And the shape of the Enclave is just perfect for a wood paneling treatment. So much so that owners are doing it anyway aftermarket. There's pictures of it online where people have done this themselves and it looks great. So all Buick has to do is copy that, put some Roadmaster badges on it and charge, I don't know, 5 or 10 grand more depending on how much more they throw at it, and call it the Buick Enclave Roadmaster. Absolutely brilliant idea if I do say so myself. And now we'll close it out with the obvious choice. For sale on Autotrader currently is several selections of Jeep Grand Wagoneers, and this one looks to be in collector quality condition, which would justify the high price. These things have exploded in value recently. And of all the cars on this list, the Jeep Grand Wagoneer is most likely to come back here in the next few years as a wood panel wagon. Jeep has hinted that they are going to unveil this year a new Grand Wagoneer for the 2021 model year, and if they know what's good for them, they better slap some wood paneling down the side of this thing, because it will be a smash hit. And personally, I hope that it does really well with wood on it, so it encourages them to put wood on other Chrysler products, or maybe other brands will follow suit. Fingers crossed there. So hopefully I have presented a logical argument for the return of wood paneling. And if you agree with me, be sure to like this video, leave a comment below. Also go search on Autotrader for the best newer car that you think will look great with wood paneling on it. Be sure to post that link in the comments so I can see the car that you're thinking of and give you a thumbs up or thumbs down, and everybody can join me. Thank you for watching.